And then I had also written to Lee Hood. And Lee, in his very informal way, had just said, okay, why don't you come down and we'll talk, meet me at the corner of Wilson and San Pasquale, at Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. and we'll talk. So I showed up at the corner of Wilson and San Pasquale on a Saturday afternoon, having gotten time off from the coronary care unit where I was, the resident in charge, and at UCSF, and there was nobody there at the corner of Wilson and San Pasquale, and I kind of wandered around. It was really right on the campus of Caltech, and finally I decided it must be one of these buildings, and I went in there, and there was Lee, in his shorts and his plaid shirt, working away at some manuscript, and we spent a couple of great hours talking about, where science was. In particular, he was just over the moon about the microchemical instrumentation work that he was doing that created this facility for moving smoothly back and forth between protein sequencing, where he had trained when he was a graduate student at Caltech working with Bill Dreyer, and DNA synthesis and ultimately DNA sequencing. And I decided that was for me. So there I was in the CCU at UCSF, and I took advantage of some of the work that I had done while a graduate student. I called Joe and asked him if I could use that as the basis for a grant application and use the molecular biology skills that I felt I would acquire at Caltech, and I put that together and wrote a grant to the NIH, which was funded. Inconceivable in these days, but there I was, and I arrived at Caltech then in 1981 with my own funding, and ready to work in Lee's laboratory, which was the most informal place that you could possibly imagine. It was, as many have said, creative chaos. There was no structure or organization of the place at all. But it was a spectacular environment, again, because of the quality of thinking that goes on, does now at Caltech. I, of course, was unusual in being a clinically trained physician working in an environment that was really much more on the math-physics side. And so I ended up, being the clinical consult for everybody, including the president of Caltech, who would call me up and ask me about, clinical problems. And so I kind of was an advisor. I was also moonlighting in emergency rooms in Los Angeles at the time, so it was an interesting period, but it was a wonderful place to be, and Lee's lab was a terrific place to be, and included a lot of people who went on and did important things in immunology.